I never imagined that one of the most defining moments of my life would begin with a hospital mistake. In 2010, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. At first, it was manageable, inconvenient, painful, yes, but something I thought I could handle. But the disease didn't let up. Within months, it escalated into full-blown Crohn's disease. And suddenly, I was living in and out of doctors' offices, emergency rooms, undergoing scans, blood work, and more pills than I could count. I felt like I was becoming my illness. Over the next 4 years, my body betrayed me in ways I could never have predicted. Food stopped feeling like nourishment. My skin grew pale. My muscles thinned. My energy faded. I lost jobs. I lost relationships. I lost parts of myself I didn't even know could be taken. In August of 2014, I was admitted for a hernia surgery, just another procedure in a long line of them. But the day after the operation, everything began to unravel. I felt strange pressure in my abdomen. I couldn't urinate, couldn't pass gas, couldn't move without sharp internal pain. The nurses were kind, but dismissive. "It's just the anesthesia," they told me. "It'll pass." But something inside me whispered, "No, this isn't normal." By afternoon, I'd barely breathe. Each inhale felt like sucking air through a straw buried in sand. I tried to stay calm, I really did. But a deep, primal panic started rising inside me. I reached out to a nurse and grabbed her wrist with what little strength I had. "Please," I begged, "don't let me die." She looked startled, then concerned. Then the alarms began. Suddenly, I was being wheeled out of the room. The overhead lights blurred. The walls swirled like liquid. Someone shouted, "I see you now." Then, blackness, but not nothingness. I didn't wake up in my body. I woke up somewhere else. There was no room, no form, no sound, just black, but not empty black. Not silence, as in quiet. It was a living void. I existed as a point of awareness, no arms, no legs, no mouth, no eyes. I was a presence, a pulse of thought suspended in the middle of infinite space. The sensation was unlike anything I'd ever known. Imagine floating in outer space, but without stars, without planets, without orientation. No up, no down, no before, no after, just now. I didn't know if I was alive or dead. I didn't even know if James existed anymore. But somehow, I was still me. There was no pain, no sound, no body, but I was aware, undeniably, vividly aware. And with that awareness came a terrifying question. Is this it? Is this what death really is? The idea chilled me more deeply than the physical cold ever could. For what felt like forever, I floated in that blackness, thinking, replaying moments of my life, trying to understand how I had ended up there. At first, the memories were scattered faces of people I loved, arguments I wished I could take back, laughter in a park, a dog I'd had as a child. Then came deeper memories, fears, regrets, buried moments I had tried to forget. Everything was stripped bare. There were no lies in that place, no ego, no reputation, just truth. The acts of kindness I had done, helping a neighbor, saving a bird, comforting a stranger, shone like tiny lights in the distance. But the selfish moments, the betrayals, the arrogance, the indifference echoed louder. I wasn't being judged by an outside force, but I was feeling the weight of my own soul. Eventually, the blackness around me began to change. It didn't become light, not yet, but it became aware of me. Just as I was aware of it, there was a sense of presence, not threatening, but comforting, just vast and observing. I tried to reach out, not with words, but with intention. I called for my sister, for my mother, for anyone, but it was like screaming into water. I wasn't alone, but I couldn't connect. Then, in an instant, everything shifted. I was being pulled backward, downward, inward, I couldn't tell. I moved through something, faster than light, but slower than thought. And suddenly, I saw it, Earth, from above, floating high in the sky. I could see the blue of the oceans, the thin veil of atmosphere, the continents below. Then closer, a city, closer, a street, closer, a hospital. I could smell hot asphalt, hear the buzzing of neon, the faint honk of a distant horn. And then, I was in the building, passing through walls like they weren't there, gliding floor by floor, until I reached a room, my room, and there on the bed was my body. Still, tubes in my mouth, wires on my chest, nurses moving frantically around me. One of them said, "He's back." And I was, like slipping on a tight, wet glove. I snapped back into form. And pain, my throat burned, my chest throbbed, my eyes fluttered open. I had returned, but I would never be the same. They later told me that I had flatlined, that I had stopped breathing, that my blood had become toxic, that they had to fight to bring me back, that I was lucky to be alive. But I didn't feel lucky. I felt haunted, haunted by that void, haunted by the memory of being without a body. I didn't sleep for weeks. I was terrified that if I closed my eyes, I'd fall back into that darkness. Later, the infection was traced to a bacteria Bartonella henselae that had inflamed 2 heart valves. I needed emergency open heart surgery. I remember signing the papers with shaking hands, wondering if this would be the last thing I ever signed. The surgery was brutal. 2 valves were replaced with tissue from a cow's heart. When I awoke, I wept, not because I was afraid, but because I had been given a second chance. In recovery, I faced more struggles in nursing home error that caused hallucinations than accusations from my sister, who believed I had brought this on myself. She told me God was punishing me for walking away from church, that my suffering was a consequence of sin. But I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe in a God who tortures people into enlightenment. I believe in a universe that reflects, that holds up a mirror and asks gently, sometimes harshly, "Are you paying attention? Do you remember who you are?" And I do. Now, I do. I no longer chase success. I chase meaning. I no longer fear death. I fear a life wasted. That void wasn't punishment. It wasn't hell. It was silence. And silence is where truth lives. If this story stirred something in you, even a flicker, leave a comment that says, "I am still aware." Let it be a signal to others, to yourself, that something deep inside you remembers too. And if you're drawn to these stories from the edge to the places where this world ends and something else begins, subscribe to Afterlife Echoes. There is more waiting, more truth, more light. You are not alone. You never were, and you never will be.